the time? Well, I'm putting together a new series on how to make the most of your leftovers. And so today I'm going to be making some fried rice. And I'll be using leftover steelhead that I cooked the other night. You may have already seen the previous video I did on what I did with some of the leftover steelhead, and I'll go ahead and link to that right up here for those who haven't seen it yet. And then I'm using up the rest of it tonight. Now that was the steelhead that I baked the first night in the solar oven. It was only one big fillet, but it was way more than Mr. Rain and I needed. We ate on that. I used some of the leftover, made that meal up there, and now I'm going to be making some fried rice. Now, fried rice is one of the best and easiest ideas for using up some whatever meat that you have left over. My two favorites to use in this are either the steelhead, you could also use salmon, or chicken, but you could also use pork if you like pork, or beef, or whatever. But chicken or steelhead are my two favorites. So what I have here to keep it as frugal as possible for tonight's meal is I have nothing, all this right here all came from my garden. So I have some garlic, I have onion, I have a serrano pepper, or excuse me, a serrano pepper right here, and an Anaheim pepper. This is a green tomato, believe it or not, this tastes really good in stir fry, and a little bit of zucchini. So to start off with, I'm going to be putting some of the sesame oil that I really like, and I'll link to it below if it's still available on Amazon. I'm going to be putting that in the pan, and I'm going to be taking all of my vegetables and just throwing it right in there. Now, one of the other great things about fried rice is that it's just like with any stir fry, is you can add whatever vegetables you want. You can add some green beans, which I thought about picking some of the younger green beans and throwing them in here, but I have a lot of green stuff. So I decided not. I don't have any good carrots growing in the garden this year again. So what I'm going to do, and this is going to help also make it very frugal, is I'm going to be opening up a jar of one of the 4 jars of the chicken of the woods that we collected the other day, and you would have seen that video, and I'll also link to that right here. And I should by now also have another video out on me cooking with the fresh chicken of the woods. But I don't have any more fresh stuff, so I'm opening one of my jars of dehydrated chicken of the woods, and this will add at least some orange as well as the steelhead to the meal. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it in this little bowl, and I'm going to add some of my filtered rainwater. You could also add something that's got flavor to it, like a little bit of coconut aminos or something. I just now thought of that. So, or even some vinegar. So in fact, that's what I'm going to do right now. Since I didn't put that much water in there, I'll go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of the coconut aminos. These are really good. I'll link to these below as well, and a little bit of my raisin vinegar. So that'll help rehydrate it and add a little bit more flavor. So yeah, I mean, these were free. Other than the fuel that it cost us to go collect them, we went and foraged these ourselves, and I'm very, very happy with them. So I'm going to set that aside and let that, and let those rehydrate. And I'm going to stick these out on the rocket stove because that is what I'm going to be cooking on tonight. Oh yes, and I almost forgot, ginger is another thing I like to add to anything that's got an Asian flair to it. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in there and mix that up. And since I can't grow, well, I shouldn't say I can't grow ginger. I've only tried to grow it once from a root, and I've tried twice to order the plants from Baker Creek, and both times that I've tried to order them, I ended up having to get refunded because they had a crop failure, sadly. But I'm going to keep trying because I'm really hoping that we can grow ginger here. Love, love ginger. But in the meantime, I use this. This is I got from Glory Bee. It's a organic ground ginger, and it's really great. All right, and a quick side note. If I don't want to use it, if I don't think I'm going to use this up right away, I don't have to worry about it. I can simply reseal it. So I'm going to put my food saver lid on there, And then using my brake bleeder, and I'll link to both these below, I just stick the end in there, and then I pump it up. I usually like to pump it clear past 15. So those of you who have never seen this method before, once it gets up to 15, it gets a little hard. I usually like to go a little bit past that. Sometimes you'll hear the lid make a tink sound, like it does when it's popping after you do some canning. And there you go. It's all vacuum sealed again. And so I can just put these back away again, and I don't feel the need to have to use them up right away. All right, so before I take you out to the rocket stove and show you what I got going on out there, I'm going to show you, here is the last of the Steelhead that I baked in the solar oven that I'll be adding to that. And here is the pre-cooked rice. So when you're doing a fried rice, you really want to cook your rice earlier in the day and then let it cool. You're going to get a much better result than cooking it and then immediately putting the hot rice into your pan. It's just going to work out a lot better for you. It separates better. It's just the best way to do it. So I most likely am not going to be using all of this rice. I usually just like to make a good sized pan. Well, this isn't even huge, but just to have plenty or whatever else. Sometimes Mr. Rain likes to eat it for breakfast with cinnamon and sugar and the raw goat's milk that we get from a friend. So these are still rehydrating, and I'm gonna go ahead and take these out there with me along with you. All right, so I got my vegetables just cooking up a little bit here. I'm not trying to get them mushy or too soft. I just want to get them lightly cooked, just a little bit softened. And then I'm going to be adding the mushrooms and the rice in next. So I'm going to let this cook a little bit longer, and I'll be back when this is ready for the next step. All right, so my vegetables are at the point that I'm going to go ahead and add in the chicken of the woods. At least that'll get me a little more color there. And why not just pour that liquid in there? Now I'm going to go ahead and add the rice. So I usually just add the rice according to, well, how it looks. So I'll put a little bit in there, and yes, it's kind of clumpy, but it will break up easy. This has been cooled off. So I'm thinking I got a big enough pan, I might as well put plenty in. Just keep taking your, whatever it is you're gonna mix it up with. I like using a wooden type spatula for this kind of thing, and just break it up and mix it in there, and just keep moving it around as it's heating through. You can brown this rice as much as you want, or you can just heat it through. As long as your vegetables are cooked to the point that where you want them, it should be good. And just keep breaking up your rice. And you can add a little bit of the coconut aminos or some Bragg's liquid aminos. They're still a soy product, but of all the soy products, they're the only one I still allow in my house at all. And even then, I do try to cut back on it, but they are pretty decent. Now all I got to do is add in the fish. And if it's chicken or pork that you choose to add, maybe even some shellfish, you can do that here. So I'm going to go get that. This is just about broken up the way I want it. Stoke my fire. As you can see, I've been using the StoveTech rocket stove a lot this year, and the whole front of it's black. So I'm going to have to clean it up good when I'm all done. Not that it really matters. It's just going to get black again. Okay, I'm going to go get that Steelhead. Okay, and I'm just going to put it all in there. And then basically it's already cooked, so all I need to do is just mix it up and heat it through. Now since the Steelhead is already cooked, I don't have to worry about making sure it's cooked. I just need to heat it all through until it's how I want it. Okay, so now I'm to the point where this is heated through about where I want it, and I can add some red pepper flakes to this, or whatever it is I want to add, and just serve it up as is. And when a lot of people think of fried rice as a side dish, but for me, because I put lots of meat and vegetables in there, to us, it becomes a main dish. So there you have it. There's just one way you can use up some of the leftover meat from previous dinners. Hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.